Hey, yo, what's going on? It's your man Louie T here with the Week 13 edition of the LTN Exclusives Kickback. Hope your Thanksgiving was extremely enjoyable. I hope it was everything you needed it to be, whether you needed some rest and relaxation, whether you had some good eats, you spent some great time with the family, friends, etc. You got to watch some great football, although I would say the football was less than stellar. Um, the Green Bay game wasn't really climactic. It felt like they dominated that game really from the start to the finish. The Dallas game was pretty good against Kansas City. That was a pretty good game. Um, and then the nightcap was a disaster for Baltimore. The Friday game was really solid. Um, and then the weekend football, it was all right. Um, don't really think there was anything really noteworthy during the 1 or 4 o'clock hours. The Sunday night game was absolutely spectacular. And then the Monday night game was a dud. So not a great week of football necessarily, but Thanksgiving, it did what it was supposed to do. It gave what it was supposed to give for me. And I hope it did the same for you. That said, let's go ahead and dive in to the exclusives. I want to first give a shout out to some winners from last week, and I also need to acknowledge a loser from last week. Shout out to Sully for winning the week 12 weekly pick 'em pool. Shout out to my guy Sully for getting it done. Sully did it, I want to say, because last week was an easy week. It was one of the easiest weeks we had all season. Week 12 was. So I want to say Sully did it with like one loss. I'm pretty sure Sully won with one loss last week. That's the type of week it was last week. This past week, right out of the gates, everybody got knocked down 2 or 3 times on Thanksgiving Day, right? I mean, most people had Detroit, most people had Kansas City, and if you somehow got those right, you definitely had Baltimore. So for the most part, everybody took at least an L, right? At least one L on Thursday. Most people took multiple L's. If you're someone like myself, you lost all 3 games. I was able to bounce back on Friday. A lot of people lost the Friday game. By the time you got to Sunday, a lot of people already had eaten 3 or 4 losses, right? But last week, that wasn't the case. One loss for Sully. Shout out to Sully for getting it done last week. As a matter of fact, let's just get into this, and we'll talk about some of the other things that transpired last week as we go through. So this is one of the things that transpired last week, and we continue through this week. So last week, everyone that was in the Survivor pool advanced last week. Your 4 participants that are still left: Ricky D. Hustle survived in week 12 with the 49ers, which they beat the Carolina Panthers on Monday Night Football. Tyrant 78 survived last week with Jacksonville. They took care of business against it was some lesser opponent that they were supposed to beat, and they took care of business there. And then Gats had the Baltimore Ravens last in week 12. It wasn't pretty, but they took care of the Jets, and Kevin the PRF also had the 49ers, who took care of the Carolina Panthers on Monday Night Football. So you fast forward to week 13. You had 3 people pick the Chargers, 3 participants picked the Chargers, and as you can see, and 1 picked the 49ers. So easily could have gotten a winner, right? Had the Chargers lost and the 49ers won, we would have had a winner, but everyone won. The 49ers beat the Browns, Chargers took care of the Raiders, and thus we find ourselves heading to week 14 with the same 4 participants. So congratulations to Ricky D. Hustle, Tyrant 78, Gats, and Kevin the PRF, who all advanced to week 14 in the 13th annual Soul Survivor pool. You guys are killing it. I think I've only seen the pool go this far once before. I think it made it all the way to like week 16 once before. I don't think and my memory could get a little hazy. I don't think we made it all the way to week 18 through the season before. We may have. I don't think I've ever seen it go. I know it's gone to week 16 before. So you guys are heading into that territory here, but week 14 is upon us. And we'll see if you can navigate the murky waters that lie ahead. But congratulations for making it this far to all the participants of the Survivor pool. As we continue on, we go to our next endeavor, and that is the weekly pick 'em pool. So here we find Boss Man being the winner. It's a quick little stupid anecdote. Boss Man was jealous because I won the week before, or I think it was 2 weeks before, because Sully won last week. So I'd won 2 weeks prior, and I told him I had won, and he was like, "Damn, you won again? Man, I got to get one." And all he talked about all week was he got to win a pool. He got to win a pool, and so he got one. When I was getting his picks, he's like, "My upset, the Jets over the Falcons." He's like, "That's gonna win me the pool, man." And I'm saying to myself, "Okay, guy, so you say." And so he took the Jets. They ended up winning that game, walk-off field goal. And my dumbass took the Titans as my upset special. I'm never picking the Titans again. They are the worst team in football. And so I just figured if they were going to win another game this season, it would come at home and it would be against a team in the division. So much for that, right? They got clobbered at home. Again, they stink. I'm not picking them again. But that cost me the pool. He had 4 losses. I ended up with 5. Had I not picked the Titans, then it would have come down to points. And as you can see, he had 43. I had 48, and I would have hit it right on the head. There was 48 points scored. I'm sick to my stomach that I let him win because of some negligence on my part, but such is life. So Boss Man gets his first one of the year, probably be his only one of the year. But nonetheless, he is on the board. So shout out to Boss Man. I'll have to call him and tell him he won. I don't even want to tell him he won, but I have to tell him he won. He's going to be way too excited. And I'm going to be pissed because I knew I could have stopped him from winning. So anyway, I digress. And then we get to winners and losers. Before we do that, let's go back to week 12 very quickly. I don't really want to spend a lot of time on week 12. However, I do need to acknowledge a couple of things. One, Mr. Ron B, Piss Cup from last week. You were doing so well this year, my man. I'm really disappointed that it had to be you. But you were out of pocket last week. In a week where I just talked about being very easy, right? If you had more than 3 losses last week, I think what the number was, 4? Was the number 4? I think the number was either 3 or 4. I think the number was 3. You shouldn't have had more than 3 losses last week. I had 3. I know that for sure. I think the number was 3. You shouldn't have had more than 3. But if you had 4, okay, I get it. Anything less than or anything more than 4, and you were out of pocket. And you were out of pocket, Mr. Ron B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 was ridiculous last week. There was no excuse for 6 last week. So you have to pay. So you can all come on up and you hold off on grabbing the piss for a second. Just stand here, wait. Want to give a shout out to Dallas Morgan, Sully, as I mentioned already. Those were the 2 with 1 loss last week. Raiders got Dallas Morgan, and Buffalo got just about everybody, including Sully. But Sully cleaned up the rest of the slate. Same for Dallas Morgan, who only lost the Raiders game. And that could have went either way. It was Raiders-Browns. So he just was on the wrong side of that one. But shout out to those 2 for basically cleaning the entire slate. That's a rarity here in winners and losers. Last year, it felt like it was happening with regularity. This year, it has not happened once this season. No one has won every single game. I give out money for winning all games, and that has not taken place this season thus far. But Sully and Dallas Morgan came dangerously close last week to doing that. So shout out to those 2. And a big thumbs down to Mr. Ron B for being the Piss Cup recipient from week number 12. Now let's get to week 13 in present day. So want to shout out all of the PT peers for week 13, starting with Shadow Striker, who could have been on the block by himself. I don't know if Shadow Striker would have picked Green Bay or not. I doubt it, but he didn't get his picks in on time. However, Shadow Striker, even with the automatic loss for the Thursday Thanksgiving kickoff game, still managed to only lose 4 games and thus be one of about 4 people, if I'm not mistaken, to 5, one of 5 to lose 4 games in a week where total chaos broke out on Thursday and Friday. 4 losses was pretty damn good. You know, there was a full 16 game slate on in week 13. Every team plays on Thanksgiving weekend, as you know. So no bye weeks, all 16 games. To go 12-4 is pretty damn impressive, especially after, like I said, the carnage that ensued on Thursday and Friday. To take care of business in the way that you did, pretty impressive. So shout out to Shadow Striker 789 for 12 wins, 4 losses. Same can be said for Boss Man. We just saw Boss Man go 12-4 and win his first weekly pick'em pool of the season. J4 and Swag 99, 4 losses, one of the PT peers of week 13. Same can be said for Bootleg Bree, 4 losses. And then also Twin Lakes Dad with 4 losses. Some real damage was almost done in this pool had the Commanders somehow found a way to win on Sunday night, including the pecking order of first, second, and third. Really could have been some real damage could have been done there had the Commanders won. We'll talk about that here in a second. But shout out to the PT peers of the week: Shadow Striker 789, Boss Man, J4N, Swag, Bootleg Bree, and Twin Lakes Dad. Now, let's get to our Piss Cup recipient. So that's the best of the week. Let's get to the worst of the week. I hate to do this. I really do. This is my girl. I cannot believe we having this conversation right now, but Commander Wow. Wow. Like, wow. Piss Cup Ultra. Are you serious right now? 10 losses? What are we doing, girl? No, not you. Yikes. Let's see what you did here, because you had to be special to get to 10. Detroit, Kansas City, Baltimore, Philadelphia. Okay, I get it. Just a lot of people fell victim and prey to losing all 4 of those games. That's not bad. Indianapolis, okay, I got it. I see how you could have done that. Atlanta, yep, I fell into that trap. Most of us did. Okay, that's 6. Rams, yeah, I mean, everybody hit. I think just about everybody fell into that trap. That was a vicious trap, right? Hard to avoid. That's 7, okay. Titans, I got to, yep. All right, yep, I see it. All right, that's 8, okay. Cardinals, come on now, girl. What are we doing now? Now you being special. Now you being special, and then you pick the Commanders. I saw what you was trying to do there, but you can't go Commanders if you're going to go Cardinals and Titans. You got to draw the line somewhere. It's called self-preservation. At some point, you got to say to yourself, am I willing to risk the Piss Cup? Or do I just want to toe that line? Do I want to go all the way up to that line, but now don't cross it? You decided to hell with it. Either I'm going to be the GOAT or I'm going to be the hero. Well, you, my friend, are the GOAT this week because you are sipping piss, and not any kind of piss. This is separate from what Mr. Ron B is going to be sipping on today. You, my friend, are sipping on some Piss Cup Ultra. I hate that it had to be you. All right, let me disperse this right now. Let me get this out to y'all so y'all can start working on this as we continue to talk about what's going on, because shit's heating up in winners and losers. All right, so this is the regular. Let me make sure this is regular. Yeah, that's the regular. Whew, that's still strong. Here you go, Mr. Ron B. This is for your shenanigans and tomfoolery from last week. And whoo, girl, this shit is bubbling in my hand. It's so damn strong. Here go this Piss Cup Ultra for you, Commander Wow. Yikes. Y'all go have fun with that, man. That's some nasty work right there. Anyway, let's get to the proceedings this evening. And things are heating up in the winners and losers this year. This shit's gonna come down to the final week of the season. I love it. If I can't be a part of it, at least let it be theater, right? At least let it come down to like I love to bowl, right? I like to go bowling with my dad and my uncle, my son, etc., my friends whenever possible. We're very competitive. And I love when I love a good ass whipping. I love to go out and kick their ass and not have it be close. But if it comes down to that last frame, I'm all about that smoke. I want that pressure of that last frame, knowing that I got to strike on the first one in order to get the next two to even be available to me. Right? I know I got to strike that first roll, and I like the pressure of that. I like being in that pressure-packed situation. I like watching guys have to perform in the most pressure-packed situations. That's what it's going to boil down to this year. Like, Rella was kicking ass last year. And while it was somewhat close, it wasn't close enough that all she had to do was not vomit all over herself in the final week. Somebody's going to actually have to go win this thing because it's just going back and forth. So, just to bring you up to speed, last week, Ricky D. Hustle was in second place, tied for second place with Mike Lowry at 125, 52, and 1. And Kevin the PRF had taken sole possession of first place at 126, 51, and 1. By virtue of only having 2 losses. I think the other 2 had 3 losses, 1, 2, 3, because remember, it was a 3-way tie for first place. And then Mike Lowry and Ricky D. Hustle in week 12 both had 3. Kevin the PRF had 2, so he took the lead by himself. The roles were reversed this week. And Ricky D. Hustle, first of all, look at what he did on Thursday. I mean, shit. Yeah, he set the tone, right? Green Bay, Dallas, and Cincinnati, a clean sweep. And this is what I was talking about. Had Washington, he picked Washington too. Had Washington won, he would have put this pool in a really different state because he would have then only had 4 losses. And you had guys with 7 losses this week that were, hovering around the top spot. So it would have created some real distance. And it would have changed things dramatically because it would have given everybody else an additional loss. So think about it from this perspective. He would have won that game. That would have given him 4 losses. And that would have given a guy like Kevin and PRF 8 losses, right? So he would have been 4 games better than him this week, which would have created this massive separation in the standings. Instead, his 5 losses, which still really good compared to the others, catapults him into first place by himself by virtue of Kevin the PRF having 7 losses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And going 9 and 7 this week. Ricky D. Hustle going 11 and 5. And then also Mike Lowry, who was tied for second last week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So Mike Lowry had a 9 and 7 week as well. He falls to third. Ricky D. Hustle catapults himself to first place with an 11 and 5 week. So he's in first place by 1 game. Kevin the PRF drops back to second at 135, 58 and 1. 1 game back of first place. And 1 game back of him is Mike Lowry in third at 134, 59 and 1. So it is still an incredibly tight race. The difference between first and third is just 2 games. The difference between first and second is just 1 game. And then everybody else there's a clear delineation between third place and the rest of the field. Mike Jink was right there. He had a really rough go of it in week number 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 for him. So a 9 and 7 week for him. He couldn't afford that. Like, you could be in first place and go 9 and 7. You can't be in fourth place essentially and go 9 and 7, which he did. So that drops him back to 131 and 62 and 1. Again, 3 out of third place, but more importantly, 5 out of first place now for Mike Jank. Everybody else is either 130 or less. So a lot of work to be done still for the rest of the field. But things are getting really hot and heavy with first place. Love to see this thing continue to be super tight down the stretch, and we'll see how everybody handles the pressure of this situation. But in any event, that's week 13 for you folks. Shout out to all the PT peers. Those of you who went 12-4, there were 5 of you: Shadow Striker 789, Bossman, J4N Swag, Bootleg Bree, and Twin Lakes Dad. To Commander, wow. Piss Cup Ultra, hitting double-digit losses at 6 and 10. Ouch. And big ups to Ricky D Hustle for the 11-5 week in week 13, catapulting him back to sole possession of first place, dropping last week's first place holder, Kevin the PRF, to second place after going 9-7. Same can be said for Mike Lowry, who was tied for second last week, going 9-7 this week, dropping him to third place. So we will keep our eyes on this very hotly contested and tight race in winners and losers. And I will try my best to continue to try to put myself in a position to beat some people that I have a competition with. They may not even know they're in competition with me at this point. Now it's all about moral victories for me now. Can I find a way to finish better than certain people that I have a budding rivalry with, even if they don't know that that rivalry exists? Anyway, I digress. Let's get to a quick word from our sponsor. We'll come back on the other side, get to any comments, make sure that the piss has been consumed, and then we will get out of here. Remember, get your picks in on time. All right, the sheets are already up and available to be accessed. We're getting to the point of the season now where I know a lot of people aren't playing in the weekly pick 'em pool, but if you want to play in the weekly pick 'em pool, please do. I know we have our normals, our regulars, and then there's some of you who, dibble and dabble. I'd like to see the numbers go back up a little bit, but if not, make sure you get your sheets in for winners and losers as well. But weekly pick 'em pool still available, $7. All right, get in, see if you can't win. And again, if like Sully won with 1 loss last week, if you're throwing your picks in the weekly in the winners and losers, might as well throw. If you believe in them now, if you don't believe in them, that's a different story. But if you believe in them, might as well throw them into the weekly pick 'em pool too. See if you can win some money while you're at it. But in any event, let's get a word from one of our sponsors. Come back on the other side, get to the comment section, and get out of here. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips, play in fantasy leagues, and win real money on pick contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Sleeper. All right, so just a little quick check on the Piss Cuppies. See where we at. All right, both of y'all about halfway done. Okay, y'all keep going. Knock out some of these comments and we'll come back to you. We got 1 super chat. We'll get to that. Shadow Striker 789. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I was gonna take Green Bay too. 13-3 was right there. You had a chance to be the lone PT peer of week number 13, all by your lonesome. You didn't have to share this with anyone. But again, got to find a way to get your picks in on time. And you made some damn good picks, dude. sucks because again, it was right there for you to be able to take advantage of, but you didn't get your picks in on time. You could have been 13-3, and sometimes I know you throw your name in the hat in the weekly pick'em pool, and 13-3 would have definitely won you the weekly pick'em pool. So again, get your picks in on time. Get your picks in on time. I can't stress that enough. There's money to be made, and there's opportunities for you to make up some ground. So, I mean, in a week, think about this. In a week where some of the best that the week winners and losers league has to offer, in a week where some of them were 9-7, you could have been 13-3. Talk about making up some ground, right? Like that's the kind of efforts it's going to take to try and make it interesting if you're coming off the pace. It's these types of weeks, not the weeks like last week in week 12, where everyone's 11-3, 10-4, 12-2, and we even had a 13-1. You're not making up any ground in weeks like that because everybody's eating good. It's the weeks like this where there's upsets and there's a bunch of losses that people didn't see coming. That's the week where you can go, 14-2. They go 9-7. You just made up 5 games, bro. Well, if you were back 10 games, now you're just back 5 games that quickly. Can't be not turning your picks in on time. Again, there's still enough time to make a mad dash. There's still enough time. Anyway, I digress. Mr. Ron B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. OG, triple OG, Mr. Ron B, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. He says, I'll gladly take that piss cup just knowing that I got you distracted from my performance so far. 6 more weeks to finish ahead of you. Look, man, I was peeping game. Like, so you're one of the people that I have a rivalry with that you might not know that I have a rivalry with you. I talked so much trash about you a couple of years ago, and I know you was like, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna make sure I finish ahead of him. And I looked at your picks and I looked at your number and I was like, damn, Mr. Ron B ahead of me. That's how bad I am. I'm down bad. It's you, and there's a few others. I don't want to name names. I don't want them to know that I'm tailing them, and I have my sights set on them to try to finish better than them. But you're one of them. There's about 4 of you, and so you getting this piss cup lets me know that you ain't out the woods yet. You ain't out the woods yet, and I can catch you. But I can't be doing stupid stuff like picking the Titans. I can't catch you doing stuff like that. I got to be better than that. There's being aggressive and then there's being stupid. There's a very fine line, and I crossed it. And if I want to catch you and others that I'm trying to catch that I'm in heavy pursuit of, I can't be stupid. I have to be aggressive. I cannot be stupid. So, yeah, just know that I'm chasing you, bro. And you should be seeing me in your rearview mirror pulling up right about now. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Ron B, man. Oh, man, I love it. All right, speaking of Mr. Ron B, how you coming over there, my guy? Oh, you just got a little swallow left, man. Go ahead and knock that back. Commander Wow. All right, you 2 big gulps and you're done. Yeah, I know. Yes, it burns. I'm aware. You got the ultra. That's pretty rough stuff, but you got it. You got it. You're a big girl. You can handle it. I can't believe you got 10 losses, though. I ain't even gonna hold you, Commander Wow. But shout out to my girl, man. Anyway, I digress. I see Swaggy P thought he had the piss cup. No, you're good, bro. You're good. All right, Mr. Ron B. He's done. All right, cool beans. See, all right, so you just got 1 big gulp. Go ahead. Take care of it. Come on, Commander Wow. You got it. Yeah. There you go. No, don't try to shortchange me. It's still a little corner in there. Go ahead. There you go. All right. Debts have been settled. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on this installment of the Louie T Network exclusive kickback session for week number 13 in the National Football League. Shout out to everyone who has continued to be diligent enough to put their picks in. It is not the easiest thing to stay on track and get your picks in every week. As we get into the holiday season and the hustle and bustle of life, just lifing, still find time to get your picks in. I can't stress that enough. You guys have done great this season. Keep it up. Remember, if your picks are shit, you get pissed. But we're coming down home stretch. Shout out to those of you who are still left in the survivor pool, 4 of you. Make great picks. Good luck. You're going to need it. And shout out to the rest of the field in winners and losers. Things are heating up there, but there's still time to make a comeback. As you saw this week, this was a great example. 9-7. The person that was in first place went 9-7 this past week. Had you went 13-3, that's a 4-game difference. There's still time. Anyway, I digress. And also, put your picks in weekly pick'em pool. Get in. Looking forward to seeing y'all in the weekly pick'em pool this week. Until then, I'm your man Louie T. Signing off. You guys have a good one. See you next week. Peace.